What's good, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. Nadeska, Wayno, and Academics here on a Thursday, Friday episode. Academics here with Everyday Struggle merch. So, since you moved into the new mansion, do you have closets now where you can actually hang your clothes and not pick up shit from under the bed to put on every morning?
That's good. That never happened in the first place. That was a myth. You were just making it up. God damn it. First of all, I just want to say you look like you're going to a job interview today. What's going on? Talk to me.
You don't like you don't like the fresh white linen shirt today?
Yo, you got enough jobs already. You don't need no more. You need to chill. Okay?
Listen, I gotta salute Act because it takes a very dedicated person to rock the same shit for every week for 2 years. Like I'm telling you, you gotta salute him. You know what I mean? It's dedication.
What's the problem?
Consistent.
Oh my God, Wayne always got some shit to say. Okay, it's Thursday though, man. Listen, I'm excited. I hate going into the weekend when it starts to be rainy. I don't know about anybody else and where they're watching this from, but when it gets to be all rainy and gloomy, that's not the best type of look to go to the weekend on. So it's been like that all week. But I hear there's a hurricane coming. I'm a weather watcher too. Not only pocket watch.
I think you're going to be fine in New Jersey, though, Academics. But let us jump into the show right now. So yesterday we were talking about the BET Hip Hop Awards. You guys felt like Lil Baby should have won Artist of the Year. And it seems like Baby also had some feelings about this. So fans noticed on Twitter yesterday that Lil Baby did retweet a fan who said, if Lil Baby didn't win Album of the Year, that shit is scripted. And of course, he hashtagged BET Hip Hop Awards. So I think that is now gone. So of course, people then felt like that's really how he felt. But then he responded on Instagram saying, I like getting millions, not tripping about awards. I mean, if he is upset about this, could you guys blame him, really?
Nah, I ain't blaming him. That's a lyric from one of his songs, too. It's one of Gunna's songs that he's featured on. But, yeah, I mean, everybody is like playing the seat. You know what I mean? Most of the time, me and Academics is not gonna agree on something, but that right there, we both had the same feeling. Like, yeah, Meg has had a great year. I don't want to push up Baby's light to dim Meg's because I don't want to sit here and act like she hasn't worked hard because she has. You know what I mean? Last year we were debating about if she was gonna be top three when it comes to ladies in the game, and this year it's clear that she's top three. But for Baby to not win Artist of the Year was just very telling. You know what I mean? To me, it's just it made the award, even if it is scripted and you know what I mean, people know who's gonna win way before it happens. It further confirmed that. You know, it's like I'm looking at Lil Baby shit. Not only has he had #1 records, but he has had he's jumped out of his pocket of just doing trap rap, how people would say, and jumped into going into politics. Not only that, he has one of the best-selling albums of 2020 during the pandemic. So it's just kind of crazy that he doesn't win, album of the year. But salute to everybody that won. It ain't my show. It ain't our list. That's why we have our own award shows and how we do things.
Listen, I actually believe the Baby. I don't think he's mad at all. I think what the Baby's been great with is kind of handling everything in the public eye really well. And I think this is going to be some type of content and something that he probably plays off in, I don't know, some type of skit or some type, maybe even a music video. Again, I do think that, I don't think he had an album of the year, nor did I think, the Baby was the artist of the year. I feel like that was Lil Baby. But I do feel like, when we think about hustlers of the year, I think, shit, between him and Travis Scott. Travis Scott, he's on every fucking Happy Meal. Okay, he's on every PS5. Come on, man. What more could a nigga do, right? But I do think the Baby was deserving of a award. He didn't win at all. I don't think he's mad. And I think he probably also sees the fans and other people vocalizing some shit that he could have said himself that, he's not gonna look salty. So he's not gonna look salty while saying it. So I don't think he's that mad, but I think he acknowledges that, he probably should have won something. I think he's always a great sport in the public eye, though.
Okay. So this conversation kind of continued with a tweet from Carl Chery. We'll get into that next. But first, quickly, just a fan question for you guys. Everyday Struggle heard y'all give your opinion on the BET Hip Hop Awards and wanted to know why an artist like Youngboy NBA didn't get nominated when he has the numbers. Is it probably due to his legal drama or his antics?
It's definitely due to his legal drama and his antics. I mean, he's way more. He's very deserving of being nominated in damn near every category. Especially, I mean, I wouldn't consider him a new artist, but new artists is always really predicated on what you're doing, in the game while you still haven't went through certain channels. I think that he could be nominated for damn near every category. I think that he just has certain controversial things in his career that certain brands just don't want to stand next to, and I don't think that's fair. It is what it is.
Remember the conversation? We kind of had this conversation already when I brought up. I said, yo, artists like Uzi and Youngboy, they don't get these award nominations. They don't get these award wins that we normally see for other artists. And Wayne brought up the point that listen, well, sometimes they drop their project and they just disappear. You know what I mean? They don't do much else, and sometimes that do factor in to like the whole awards and nomination process. But this is where it always gets like obviously that's networking a bit, but still that's still like a little politics. When you see like a situation where like the true favorite, at least in my eyes, like Lil Baby gets robbed, right? Again, and I get that Young Boy and like Uzi and like even shit. I see Polo G even tweeted some shit out, even though he was featured in one of the ciphers. He said rigged. I think all those artists feel slighted, but you get to realize it ain't really about the music. It ain't really how the fans receive the music. If it did well, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's about some extra curricular shit, which
I
again,
agree
I
with
think
that.
most artists feel like it shouldn't be if it's a merit based award based on the music. It shouldn't be these other like,
Well,
factors.
Act, you know that. Come on. I mean, most of these award shows are not predicated on specifically just the music, because it would be totally different if it was about music. I mean, like it's I think it's definitely political. Now, I think that, like, that from that last conversation that we had, like, I don't think that it's just that they don't work it. I think that they probably just curve shit. I'm pretty sure that NBA YoungBoy and Little Uzi get called to do every type of interview that exists, every type of piece of content that exists, and they probably just curve it. And yeah, it's a lot of people that are producers of that type of shit that might feel away, and that goes into how they make determinations for these awards sometimes. Now, I don't know this as a fact, but I'm just putting two and two together. But yeah, I mean, the end of the day, it's about what's important to you. Now, if it's not important to that artist, then fuck it, don't do anything. But if it's important to you, then you're gonna have to play some part of the game, whether you consider it dick riding or not. If that's what's important to you, then by all means. If money's more important to you, and you keep making money regardless, then go with that.
And I guess that's where the conundrum with all the artists like kind of lie, because I know we're in a weird year this year, but usually when a network throws an award show, that's really like a ratings fest that they're selling a lot of ads and shit like that. Hey, we have Beyonce performing after the commercial break. These commercials are about to sell for $1 billion. You know what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And basically they're using and leveraging the fact that people love these celebrities. They're gonna tune in. They're gonna support. They're gonna vote. They're using it to sell other shit. That's where I'm a little, and I think even the artists themselves, we kind of get the process. They're a little torn, especially like an artist like Kanye, because he knows his likeness is being, exploited. Like, well, if you're doing that and going to exploit our likeness on that end, we're not complaining, but at least make the shit merit based. Like, why does it have to be like 10 things else that are politics related? You know what I mean? It's just like, say, like, for the Everyday Struggle Awards, which you do every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, listen, say Trippie Redd he missed the interview like was it early this week or was it last week,
Mm-hmm.
and then now he drops the best album, say Pegasus ends up being the best album of the year, and then all of a sudden we debate and like, man, he ain't show up here, man, we can't, nah, man, nah.
I
Yo,
mean,
come on, man,
I mean, it
that
will.
kind of taints the process though, that kind of taints the
But in
process.
our process of, I mean, we don't have like the biggest award show, but like in the process of our award show, we've never like factored in many of those things. We really base that on music, how we feel about it, and it's not, even when we do that, it's not really easy to do. Like, shit, we've had a lot of back and forths on picks, but we base it more on like how we're feeling collectively as a group. I mean, for those big networks, I get it. Like, I understand why you're gonna put certain people in these certain sits. Like you said, if it's an advertisement fucking fire sale, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand why they're gonna do it, but based it on the music for me.
Hey, by the way, listen, I think it's gonna be a complete embarrassment if the BT Hip Hop Awards. Like, come on, how much more within the culture and urban centric and just hip hop you could get? You have hip hop in your fucking name. If they get it wrong, and then the Grammys get it right. You get me? In terms of, by the way, we seen Lil Baby, he retweeted a fan talking about, like he probably should have got Album of the Year, which, I wasn't that mad that he didn't get, but, because Roddy got it. But imagine if he gets Album of the Year at the Grammys. And also, shit, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to say he's going to get Artist of the Year because usually it's bigger than just hip hop at that point. But if he gets an award for kind of like whatever the recognition for like male artists or something like that, or I don't know, whatever they might get.
Hey,
I think that looks bad on BT
I mean,
Awards because we usually look at the BT Awards to say y'all get it right when the Grammys fuck it up.
well, I mean, shit. If the Grammys base a lot on sales, then it's not a lot of artists in any genre that's selling more records than Baby this year. So we'll see how that goes.
Yo,
So
if Lil Baby gets a
that's not
Grammy
ruled out.
Award, I doubt the conversation is going to be about the BET Hip Hop Awards because they never get shit like that right. So let's see. But you guys know as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, award shows aside, everyone's going to start doing their end of year list, including right here at Complex. And then people in general like to win with their own personal picks. So Carl Chery, who's a friend of the show and also the creative director and head of urban music at Spotify, shared his thoughts on the artists who he thought have dominated music this year. He said Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, and Pop Smoke own 2020. Then in a follow-up tweet, he clarified that he wasn't just talking about hip-hop, if that's what anyone assumed. He said, this isn't a rap convo, I'm talking all genres of music. So naturally, people started to reply and said he forgot some artists like Megan Thee Stallion and 21 Savage, but I think it's important to note he's talking about all 2020, and 21 Savage dropped a great album, but that was, last month, a few weeks ago? We hadn't heard from him much earlier in the year. So do you guys agree with Carl Chery here?
I mean, this is big. I mean, this isn't big facts of BS, but this is definitely big facts. Like, I mean, unfortunately, Pop Smoke isn't here to see how great he's doing, but yeah, I mean, you'd be a fool to not feel Pop's presence in everywhere. You know what I mean? Like his music has gone way further than I think anybody anticipated even last year. Everybody thought he was gonna be a one hit wonder. Welcome to the party, and it seems like his whole album has been a hit. You know what I mean? Like his album is stood the test of time for the past year. Roddy Ricch had the biggest record, like of one of the biggest records of all time on Billboard charts. You know what I'm saying? Lil Baby, he shocked the world. Like I think that Lil Baby's having like the Lil Wayne run of like when he was in the mixtape era. When he became something that everybody didn't think he would. So I wouldn't dispute that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like when somebody brings up these people, they're not saying that Meg Thee Stallion didn't do anything. And Carl is at Spotify dealing with numbers all day on all genres. Probably he gets to see everything. So yeah, I think that he's spot on with this.
Yeah, no, I agree with those three. Again, I'll touch on some that you touched on, but I'm like, Roddy Ricch outside of the box. Roddy Ricch had his own unique stimulus package this year. Everybody who was about to catch a flop, all the artists who needed a single, they were either calling Lil Baby or they were calling Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch helped a lot of people out. Trust me, I can name the names. I just don't embarrass nobody. So. He without him having an album this year, his impact was great. Shit, till the tune of I hear that Roddy Ricch had to stop clearing songs for niggas because of course he's trying to also create some space and some like space in the market for himself when he about to drop. Of course, Lil Baby has a self-explanatory we talked about a lot. And who was the other person?
Pop Smoke.
Yeah. Pop Smoke music seems to get more popular by the day. I think people, we're having that, it's like retroactive, learning process about his music, and a lot of people are getting onto it. Like, we haven't seen such a phenomenon where an artist, especially like his, like 2 albums ago, that's streaming, like, you'll see a spike 200%. You know why? People are kind of getting onto it. I do think Carl forgot a couple of names. I think Carl's tweet was mostly to highlight, what we already know, that some of these people within hip hop, they're just all genre artists. Some of these pop, these little pop artists.
Think he forgot?
Shit, I think you forgot Youngboy too. You feel me? Youngboy dropped, it's like a project and a half or something like that. Not project and a half, but it's like pretty much 2 projects. And I think he's just always been on the charts, and he's contributed. He not only has he given albums of his own, I think we saw Youngboy kind of step out of his box a little bit, do collab with artists. We saw him on Future single. We saw him on the Migos single, Need It.
Hmm.
We saw him really kind of spread his wings and shit. He's on an upcoming song with Nicki. He's doing a lot more to kind of remain in the conversation. He's on the top. He's actually top 5 in all streaming charts, which for a guy that doesn't do interview, I think that's dope. I
Hmm.
think there was a couple other people missed, but Youngboy is definitely one I wanted to point
And the
out.
people you're talking about all in terms of dominating the entire year, like being consistent.
Oh yeah, the whole year,
Right.
yeah, the whole year.
All right, so you
The
should think
whole
about
year.
those people. Maybe we can talk about them on Monday then. I'm sure Carl would be open to having discussions too. So,
Right.
Machine Gun Kelly seems like he saw Carl's tweet, and then he suggested that if Carl's talking about all genres, then he should be in the conversation because of his recent project, which we talked about briefly. It's a rock album. He says, "My number one album, first week sales, and breaking the genre box we artists are put into, will gladly jump into this conversation then, as well as being at the forefront of creating a format for quarantine videos and music, which has been the entire 2020. Do you guys think MGK belongs in that conversation
Yeah,
for artists who own
MGK gets
2020?
left out of a lot of conversations, but he definitely belong. Listen, MGK's had a 10-year career, and nobody's like really saluted that. Like when he came out with Wild Boy, like ways back, a lot of people was saying that he was going to possibly be a one hit wonder, or he was going to be one and done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was getting a lot of flack. If he really was a part of hip hop. I think he went through the same shit that a lot of the white rappers go through coming into hip hop. And for him to not only um be a great artist, I mean, look at what he's doing in acting. He just was in a movie with Jamie Foxx. You know what I mean? He was in that Bird Box movie. I think he doesn't get enough recognition for how versatile he is just in entertainment. But MGK, yeah, like he's held shit down during 2020 a lot.
Yeah, nah, I'll definitely give him his credit where, like, I think he tackled the COVID issue and putting out whether it's music video and just like the release process. I thought he did that really well. I'm gonna just say, with all due respect, though, we can't throw you in like Carl's list. The reason why I'm gonna say that is your album dropped, what I mean, pretty much in the third quarter, September 25th. You had a couple singles that you did drop early in the year, but the people that we're talking about, they had presence. Maybe they've either dropped 2 albums or they have been featured all throughout the year, and we've seen a significant presence of all these artists throughout the whole year. You know what I mean? And I guess that's what I think that's what Carl was probably saying. While not to dim his light, but I don't think, like, what I mean, the whole year was like, damn, here
I,
MGK come
no,
again.
but you know what it is though, because people don't be paying attention. Like I just feel like in even with us, like a lot of times we don't pay attention to what he does. He does a whole lot.
That could be.
He
That could be.
he
Again, I know you mentioned acting. I'm trying to stick to the music. Maybe he did like a bunch of features and stuff like that. But I looked at the release timeline of his own music, the music which obviously worked. It just, like, again, I'm only going off spanning the whole year. You get me? Because again, for example, Uzi. We could say Uzi. Uzi did his thing, but it was during a particular quarter. Then
he
okay, what
dropped the album
happened?
and left like he always do. He dropped the album and
Okay,
got up out of here like he always do.
so of course I wouldn't throw him in the mix of what Carl was saying. Carl just saying when we think of 2020, these artists own the year.
Hey, the
You know what I mean?
baby,
It's not own the quarter, owned the baby. I think the baby's a good addition to that list. You
absolutely.
know?
Okay, so MGK mentioned that he was really innovative when it came to quarantine videos. I think those are going to be around for a while as we're seeing COVID cases spike again as we head into the winter, and also online concerts. So some big platforms have thrown a couple like mini festivals, things like that. When Reason was on the show last week, he said he's not really feeling them. It's just not the same energy, of course, as being there live with the fans. Polo G echoed the same sentiments on Twitter this past week, saying, "Think I'm good with the live stream concerts. It's weak." Well, how do you guys feel about these in general? I don't know if you've tuned into any of them. And do you think even if artists don't necessarily like them or enjoy them, they're gonna just have to tough it out and deal with it for a while?
I mean, listen, I respect the bag. You know what I mean? I respect the bag. Go get it. You know what I mean? Especially at times like this when you don't know what 2021 is holding for us. Go get your bread. But as far as like being entertained by the shit, nah. Like the first one that I had saw was I think when Tori did it with YouTube very early in the year. That was dope. You know what I mean? And this was like in the beginning of quarantine where we trying to find we watching everything on Netflix, we watching everything on fucking Amazon Prime, the Hulu, we going crazy. We're just trying to find things to watch. It was cool then, but once things eased up a bit, I'm kind of cool on the whole like inside experience because it really just seems like a music video. Like a lot of this, like people are doing like crazy set design. It doesn't feel like a concert because concerts are held at venues. Again, I respect the bag, but it don't hit the same as it did when the shit first started. Already.
Yeah, like we actually have realized the role in a live audience in performance.
Right.
You know, like from whether it's just the sound of it, the feel of it, like the thing, like, and I love watching live performance on like YouTube and stuff like that. Even if I wasn't there, like, you know what I mean. Oh, this is somebody rolling loud. Hey, this is, you know what I mean, whoever on their own tour along the way. And what you'll notice is that like these newer performances that are happening on these, you know, virtual whatever concerts, like these niggas are never out of breath. Like, you know what I mean, it's too perfect. No, real
Yeah.
talk. Like it's never like, yo, it's never like, it doesn't feel like a real experience. It feels like, yo, I'm on a set giving you, you know what I mean, a one take music video, as you pretty much said. And I think that's the thing where I could understand why some artists might not be into it because it doesn't really help your song. And also I do think fans ain't gonna be into it. Like, how many concerts have we seen that got announced? Like, hey, we're gonna have these live streaming events, and on the low, a lot of them have gotten canceled. They'll be like, hey, we're selling tickets, $15. You can see Uzi. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, fans ain't all the way into it. And then you see on the super low, they'd be like, all right, we're giving out refunds. We ain't about to have this shit no more. You know what I mean? Remember, 6 9 was like, yo, got a $5 million concert live streaming. On the low, that just kind of went away. I've seen a bunch of them I've kind of watched. You know, I see even Rolling Loud try to bring back a virtual type of thing. I think it's very hard to do. One thing I'll say, I don't know how long we could continue with certain artists without that outside aspect. You know what I mean? If as you said, Nadeska, like we have to go the whole 2021 without it, I don't know. Like, I don't know if everybody's gonna make it to 2022 then.
Well, you know, some people did try, like, it was the baby we were talking about a couple months ago, right? He did the drive through concert or something like that. But then they're all with those people who just don't know how to act and ruin it for everybody else. So let's see. Maybe come spring, you know, there's a vaccine and there's some hope that things can get back to normal because I know people miss these shows. So
Yeah,
in the meantime, though, we still have verses, right? So season 2 kicking off November 19th with T.I. and Jeezy. So for some reason, this is really, really upsetting Funk Flex. So he recently went on a rant on his show calling out T.I., said he wasn't the king of the South, then goes on to suggest that there are so many people in front of him for the crown of the South. So he said that T.I.'s catalog does not compare to Wayne's, Ludacris, Ross, Jeezy, 2 Chainz. He basically named everybody. And then goes on to say, remember, Swiss Beats made you who you are when he did that song with you and you had those Jay-Z vocals. So he said the East Coast made you. He's talking about Bring 'Em Out. And it seems like this started because he's upset that T.I. even challenged 50 Cent. Then he says he feels like he plays himself by how he responded to Busta, that he was too scared, that he didn't want any smoke. It's just, it's definitely a lot of energy. So your thoughts on Funk Flex just being super tight at T.I. for some reason?
This is definitely something that was probably brewing behind the scenes that came to light. And probably what happened is that I remember when Funk, and I actually had to research, Funk Flex made his comments about 50 versus T.I. and the possibility of it. And, you know what I mean? I think, you know, certain comments may have rubbed T.I. wrong. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but clearly Funk now clearly saying, fuck it, I'm going to just bring it on the record. Because he kept talking about cooperating. He kept saying, yo, listen, yo, like, I think he was just, a lot of other stuff just sound like hate, but really he was just trying to say, listen, that cooperating stuff, as I said before, is not gonna rock. You know what I mean? And again, I think we just beaten that dead horse so many times. Like, I don't really give a fuck about that angle of it. I do think T.I. versus Jeezy is a great battle that's going to happen. But I will say, I do think that, you know, Flex, within everything he was doing, the theatrics, maybe hating, whatever, like, you know, a little saltiness, whatever, I think he did showcase a good point of saying, man, I don't know why niggas is sleeping on Jeezy and thinking this is like an open and shut door when it comes to verses. Like, we ain't trying to hear the records with you and Rihanna. This is supposed to be like the battle of the South in the streets. So the
So
streets is gonna show out. So
I
Do
mean,
we
I
feel?
hear
I want to see.
like I'm sorry,
No, go
I
ahead.
hear that, but like the shit that bugs me out is like, damn, bro, like we just gonna forget that Ti ever made the music that he made. Like we just gonna forget about trap music. We gonna forget about urban legend. You know what I mean? Like so everything is just paper trail and beyond. Like what bugs me out about that is that Funkmaster Flex is a DJ. You know what I mean? He's one of the best DJs. Now I think that it just got a little bit personal. You know what I mean? It got personal, and then like when you start saying certain things, that goes to show that your conversation that you having about the whole versus situation between him, Busta, whomever. Like Busta and Ti, they said a little funny shit to each other, but they got on live together and joked it up about it. Like so, if it ain't that serious for them, I don't understand why it's that serious for Flex. Now he might just be trying to put his stake in it because he's a New York DJ, but I don't think that we know that Jeezy ain't no pushover, but damn, we just gonna act like Ti ain't never did shit. Like his catalog can't compare to all these people. Like that's where we at, bro. This nigga been putting out music for 20 years, and we just gonna say that he ain't did shit. Like that's the part that don't sit well with me. It just doesn't.
I will say that I think I love people like Flex, and I don't think you're like that, Wayne. I don't think you're like this, but I like people like Flex because people like Flex from New York are like no matter everybody's success revolves around how New York helped that success. So he brought up the point. He said, "Yo, let's not forget that you had to go holla at Swiss from New York to go get that record that kind of brought you to somewhere else, and then you had the vocals from Jay-Z from New York,
Oh
and then
man,
because he said
yo,
he said that 24's record was trash. By the way, I like the record 24's, but I do think Flex, Flex is a DJ, and by the way, I do think he's a historian as well, so I'll keep it respectful. Rubber Band Man was the joint that I really think that started having Ti moving a little
right,
bit different.
absolutely,
So again, I think Flex in trying to make his point just hopped over that joint. But 24s was a good shit that got people a little introduced, at least on a mainstream level, because the South's been buzzing on him, right? And then of course, Rubber Band Man, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not disputing that neither. I'm just saying it's like, dog. When Flex the way he delivered it, it just seems personal. You know what I mean? Like when he delivered it, it seems personal because it's like,
Seemed emotional, of course.
yeah, absolutely. It's like I just we not gonna sit here and act like nobody can sit here and act like Ti ain't had a career. That's what I'm saying. As far as purely music. Take the acting, anything he's done outside of that out. Purely music. We're not gonna sit here and act like this nigga ain't a legend just off his own name.
All right, let me ask a question, and let's just be completely truthful and honest,
Mm-hmm.
because again, me, even though it's filled with hate, salt, and everything, I try to debate and just try to be objective about it. Does Flex have a point? And he might not, but I'm just asking. Does he have a point that this is a battle, which clearly, obviously, is going to be, of the streets, right? Is it going to matter at all about, whatever allegations that, always,
No, no, that's
circulate
not gonna
Ti?
matter,
Will
man.
anybody care? Be like, oh, nah,
No,
nah. Like, you don't
no,
think so?
no, absolutely not. No, not at all. I don't think that that's gonna happen by no means. The thing about it is, man, is this is like what I will say is that do people? I think that people in New York, a lot more people in New York might love Jeezy a little bit more than they love Ti. I won't dispute
Really?
that. I think that's because just for me now. Look, I've been going to Atlanta since '99, bro, and so I've seen both of their influence from the start down there. But in New York, when Jeezy came out, bro, he had the streets. You'd have thought he was from the Bronx the way he had the streets. Like Jeezy had the streets in the chokehold, and I don't think that's just New York. That's everywhere. He had the same effect everywhere. And I can't say that you could always put it to, oh well, you came and you worked with him, because a lot of New York artists worked with a lot of South artists. I mean South producers. You know what I mean? We went and got a lot of sounds from a lot of different people too. So I don't think it's like just to that. And especially with Bring 'em Out. Bro, Swiss Beats tried to give that beat to everybody. I was in the studio with Beanie Siegel and he played us Bring 'em Out, Diamonds on My Neck, all of that shit. He had like about 4 beats and he got all them 4 beats off, but like almost anybody could add that beat. You know, so
Okay. Well, hey guys, this is really great promotion for Versus season 2. So I'm sure Swizz and Timbaland are happy about that at least. So last story.
Wait, hold on.
Huh?
Wait, hold on. Wait. Beanie turned that song down with Jay-Z on the
Of
fucking
course he did,
the.
bro. That it was just. You got to think about how real quick, Nadeska, because I know we don't have all the time in the world, right? But when Swiss came and played us, he played us "Bring 'Em Out" and he played "Diamonds on My Neck." I can't remember the kid who did "Diamonds on My Neck," but I remember that it had the Biggie sample. Beans, if this is when we was working on the Becoming album. If you listen to the Becoming album and how Beans approached that album, nothing on that song said "Bring 'Em Out." Then why would you have a Jay Z sample song when you could have him on a song and you signed to him? That just it just didn't fit for him.
Okay,
It
okay.
just didn't
All
fit for him.
right, all right. Well, I'm just thinking of the Jay-Z effect, but okay,
Yeah,
all right. You got it.
Makes sense. All right, guys. So our last quick story before we leave for the weekend. Kid Cudi has announced that he's gonna drop "Man on the Moon 3." Said it's coming soon. No release date yet, but this is pretty crazy. So of course the original one dropped in 2009, certified classic album, and "Man on the Moon 2: The Legend of Mr. Rager" was 2010. Now we got a lot of different projects in between. Then he experimented with sounds a bit, indica, the last passion, pain, and demon slaying. Like the music definitely changed sonically. So are you guys surprised to hear that he's dropping the trilogy, I guess, to this project? And how do you think that's gonna really land now?
I'm definitely surprised he's dropping Man on the Moon 3. Um Fans have always wanted it. I love, like the Man on the Moon series. I've always wanted it as well, but I think he's at a different place in his life. If you really listen to the first two and, just the tone about like, his drug use or just like, the phase of life he's in, like for a guy who, clearly, we've learned a lot about Cuddy since, he went to rehab. He's dealt with certain issues very publicly, depression and stuff like that. I don't know if this is the album that we would want if we actually love those first two, or maybe not the album that might be the best for him if it's gonna be in the same vein.
do people love the
So
first two though? I think
I love the first two.
you
I
love the
love the
first
first
two.
one, and the second one is solid.
Oh
It's
my
not as
god,
good as
The
the first
second
one, but
one
it's
is
still solid. I still
The
listen to
second
it.
one is the first one. I would not say I would nothing wrong. Classic. First one classic, undisputable, undeniable.
easy.
The second one is and I'm gonna just keep it 100. And this is just from my standpoint. When it comes to Kid Cudi, I think people
Tread
put
lightly.
whatever. I'm not treading lightly or nothing. I've gone through it. I've dealt with the Kid Cudiers, the Rager, the Riders, everything. Listen, I think that his first album is great. After that, people just I think they just be lifting him up, man. That shit ain't as good as everybody be saying it is, and that's just to me. Nothing, and it's hard to recreate the momentum or the energy you had on a first album, especially the way he did that first album. But everything else, man, I just think that they be putting a little bit too much gas on the fire. It ain't like that. It really ain't like that.
Yeah, he pretty much drew out the blueprint for Travis. So
I don't want to
you
hear
gotta
that.
give him.
I don't give a fuck about if he
Gotta
blueprint
get
for
got
that.
him.
No. Travis, take Travis out of the
You
conversation.
gave the
dog.
directions.
No, I don't want to hear that. Talk about what he do. I don't want to talk about if it wasn't for him, then there wouldn't be no Travis.
Hold on, no. All right, hold on. All
that.
right, but hold on. Well, I mean, influence and impact always, matters in how an album is received. But
Influence and
like the second one, if we're talking about how the first one was received, right? I get it because the first one had all type of classic records that have lasted the test of time.
What's
Fucking
the second?
Pursuit of
What's
Happiness
classic
on the
record?
first.
Second one down.
I think Marijuana is a classic.
Okay, you think that one?
I don't even smoke. Like, come on now, nigga. Like, I don't even smoke.
So what?
I'm just telling you.
But you don't have to
Mr.
smoke.
Rager. Come on now. This song is called Marijuana.
Yo,
nigga.
bro.
Mr. Rager.
That second album, listen, I'm just saying that y'all niggas be gassing that shit up a whole lot. That first album classic, that second one is not that good. I'm just keeping it all the way above. Now, I understand people being hardcore Kid Cudi fans and all that, but I'm not one of them people that think that what's that fucking Jay-Z album what's that album? That Magna Carta Holy Grail shit.
Oh, Kingdom Come.
All right, exactly. I'm not one of them people that's like, what? He could do no wrong. Nah, them shits was not lit. That fucking what's the name shit? That Man on the Moon 2 shit is not it. I wish niggas would stop acting like that's the best shit since sliced bread and pencil pockets. The first one was fire. That second one was not it. If he drops the third one, I hope he in a whole different space. Because if he try to go do the same shit he was doing 10 years ago. He gonna fumble at the goal line. But that's my
Wait,
my,
I'm
my
gonna go
piece on
listen to
it.
Maniac as soon as we stop recording.
well, yeah, I'll say, yeah, classic, maybe arguably, but to say it's not good at all, come on, come on. I think we're not being fair to
It's
Cudi,
not
man.
even
I think
arguably classic. The second one is arguably classic. See, that's what I'm saying, man. The
I,
word
th- I think
the
I
word
think it's
classic is
borderline.
like the word bro, man, or big bro. Niggas just use it because it's a word. I swear.
I feel like we should just
That's a
agree
whole
to
other show.
let's just agree to disagree on this one. I don't think you guys are changing
Wait,
each other's minds here. Final thought, academics.
wait, you think it's trash?
I don't think it's trash. Trash means never listen at all. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. That's what I'm saying.
I feel
It's
Wayno was
cool.
trying to say it's overhyped, but I
It
think
is
he's probably.
overhyped.
But you still think it's good though. You just think it's overhyped because
It's
there's a
cool.
lot of things I think
It
that are
don't
good.
compare to the first one at all. It don't compare to the first one.
That's like a no discussion classic though. Like, what I mean, it's hard to. It's like Reasonable Doubt compared to.
It's nothing.
What I mean, what James have a bunch of.
All right, I think that's enough. I think that's enough on this topic. We're gonna get Man on the Moon 3. Either way, you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. Sorry, Wayno. Thank you guys for watching Everyday Struggle. Send us some fan questions on Twitter. Everyday Struggle with 2 G's. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you here Monday on Complex.